Hello, my name is Jordan. I'm here with a deck profile for the deck I ran at Pennsylvania Philly Regionals. I went 4-0-1 until I crapped out and had 3 losses and a draw. But it was doing nicely until then. So it's a really interesting deck, and that's why I'm profiling it before I take it apart. So it is a Zing DDD Zoo Infernoid deck. It's a mouthful. Okay. So I separated it into engines rather than monster, spell, and trap, just to make things easier. So for the Yang Zings, we have a 2-2-2 ratio for Chiwin, Bion, and Suwani. And I've got Yang Zing Path and 2 9 pillars of the Yang Zing. The Chiwin, they all float when they die, all the Yang Zings, but the Chiwin's the best one because he has his graveyard effect, which is when a Yang Zing is destroyed, you could special summon him from the grave, and then he gets banished when he leaves the field. So the idea is to sync on your opponent's turn with these. That's what these secondary effects are, aside from the floating. And he makes the monster synchroed into unkillable by battle, and he makes them gain 500 attack and defense. Path is just a recycle. These are just Solemn Judgments. Pretty good card. And for the Speedroids, I've got a Terratop, Takatomborg, and Red-Eye Dice. The Red-Eye Dice is, I guess, most people don't play it, but that's for Danglong plays. In case I brick, Terratop's always a 1-card Danglong. And the Takatomborg, I guess the main thing to do with that is Invoker for the Zoo combos, which I'll get into later. Then for the DDDs, it's got I've got 3 gates, a Lamia, and a Copernicus. The idea is that the Copernicus the gate is a 1-card Danglong, so you could just search Copernicus, normal it, send Lamia, send the contract to the grave, special to Lamia, and make Danglong, because obviously best card in the deck, Danglong. And a lot of the time I would side Copernicus out, because just special summoning a level 1 tuner is kind of the main thing you need because of the Zoo variant, so I'll get into that when I get there. Then I've got just generic ways to not auto-lose if I go second, because this is really a turn 1 deck. So I got my Board Wipes, Maxi, Twin Twisters, and the 1-for-1s there just to get out the level 1 tuner, typically Decatron, I guess, because he's got more than just that effect. Now for the Zoo engine, I've got 2 Raptiers, 1 Whiptail, 3 Barrage, 3 Tenki, and a TG Warwolf. This is important for the first turn combo, which I'll show in a moment. There's like tons of 2-card combos for it. That's what's supposed to make this deck run, which is why I'm running this subpar card, Red Resonator, and I'm running it at 6 pretty much because he's just searched the Red Resonator in this deck. Then for my Infernoids, I've got, of course, triple Decatron. I run a Prometheus, which a lot of people don't run. It's actually really good. It targets a set card and sends it back to the deck, and it cannot be chained to by that card. So it's really good. It forces cards out, and this is the one that I'd go into if I make my turn 1 play, just to get Annoyed in the grave, and I need basically for my turn 1 combo a level 1 or level 2 tuner on board, so I can't actually, if I'm using Decatron, I can't send a different Infernoid and still get that use out of it. And then just for basically names for the imagination, I have I'm trying to have all different ones, so I have 1 Antra, 1 Harmadic, 1 Patrulia, Antra sends back to the hand, Harmadic pops monsters, Patrulia pops spells and traps, Sajet's there for the feast, Sidesmoss, just the non-targeting banishing is great, and it's also good for feast because a lot of the time my monster zones will be too filled to bring out Sajet and 2 Decatrons, 2 Deviati and 2 Onoku. Alright, here's where it gets a little weird. I mean, granted, I'm sure it's been weird for a while now, but I got 3 Vanishment and then only 1 Feast and 1 Imagination. So the idea is if I go first with my 2-card combos to make my board, I want to also get a Vanishment to search the feast, and then my board just gets completely ridiculous. And the imagination is there specifically for when I'm going second. This way, it's a better card to search when I go second. And also, it's just an engine in this deck. Granted, it's a big engine, but like it's not really supposed to go crazy with the Infernoids. Now, extra deck, got the Herald of the Arclight, Chanbara, 2 Denglongs, Yazi, Baxia, Breaksword, which is a lot of the time what I'd go into going second to bait out cards if necessary. Totem Bird, which is kind of win more, like if I could do my play without needing the Terratop. So basically if I have Barrage and Terratop, it's just adds an extra negate. Invoker, 2 Dridents, a Broadbull, a Borbo, a Tiger Mortar, and of course Tiara. And the side deck is 2 Strikes and a Warning, which I just put in going first against decks where it will hurt a lot, which is, you know, most of them. They're obviously great cards. Triple Denko Sekka, you know, for Paleo, Lancia for Invoked and Infernoids, Ghost Ogres. I was typically siding them in against anywhere where I thought it'd be helpful. A lot of the time against Zoo. 3 System Downs, because I just didn't really play against many ABCs when I came out, and I don't have a lot of outs for Cosmo. So granted, I didn't expect to see much of either, but I just wanted to have it in case. And the 3rd Twin Twister. All right. So that's the crazy deck. And now, the turn 1 combo.
Why don't you just shuffle it up and see if you draw a hand?
Sure.
I think we went through this once, and you opened, it was 5 cards, 60 cards, so it'll be 10 opens, or like 12 opens, and it opened in every single one. And then I shuffled it and I didn't get it, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who's seen the deck has to know it's definitely not super consistent, which is probably why I, you know, scrubbed out late in that regional. Plus, I started losing all my die rolls, which is a pretty big deal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, with this hand, I have a Denglong play, but I don't have access to a rat, so I don't actually have the combo that I'd typically go into. So it's a playable hand. I'm sorry?
Let's just draw another hand until we get one. But let's show people how often it comes up.
Okay, so with this hand, I'm very strong actually. Very, 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 very strong. Because I'm going to have a feast play and I'm going to have extra pillars. I might even have to dump it. So basically, what you want is a way to get a rat on field with a level 1 or 2 tuner. So we have the combo right here. And then we have this as backup. So the Tenki is a little redundant. So basically main phase 2, yeah, main phase 2 I'm going to use these to get a feast. And this is just going to be in my hand as just extra defense. So you're going to summon rat. You don't really have to send anything, it doesn't make a big difference. But because I'm not going to have many rats in my deck, I'm just going to send Barrage.
Yeah, we don't really play enough recycling in here, so we just get rid of the redundant cards.
Yeah, then go into Borbo and Broadbull. Detach the Borbo. Search.
Yeah, it's over there.
No, I moved it, yeah. The TG Warwolf. So this is where this comes in handy. Then you detach the rat to special a rat, and this is where you trigger the TG Warwolf, who special summons himself when a level 4 or lower monster is special. So now this is your fantastic field, you know. And then you activate your gate, and this is why I don't really use the Copernicus much. I wind up using it as just a level 1 tuner special summon a lot of the time to search Lamia. Then you send the gate to special the Lamia. And now, this doesn't look like a typical Zoo combo anymore. I guess it didn't from the get, but you sink for 5. to make your boy Denglong. Denglong searches. Of course, pillars. So now, this is your hand now. So now what you do is...
I'm going to send Suwani to the graveyard.
Well, first you may as well make the Dryden, but you're going to put a Tiger Mortar and a Dryden on it. The reason is because you actually need to pop one of your own cards in this combo, because I didn't have access to a Chiwin. So now I'm going to use Denglong to send Suwani. This way he's level 4. And now I'm going to Synchro 7 for Yazi. That's, yeah. And Denglong is going to trigger to float into Chiwin. So a lot of the time you don't really want the Chiwin on board. This is only if I didn't have access to it in my original play.
Yeah, if
like,
it was the initial tuner, you wouldn't do this.
Yeah, kind of like I would sync with, to get the Yazi, I would use the Red Resonator and the Werewolf to get the Denglong, I mean, instead. So like level 1 or tuners will, or 2 tuners will make this doable.
Because you could have made the Denglong either with the Werewolf or with the Rat.
So now I have a Suwani in the grave. My Dryden is going to pop the Chiwin. Chiwin's going to activate. And I will get my last Yang Zing for the combo. So now, the typical board would be this with a pillars. And what that could do is, when my opponent goes, if they kaiju me, I still have the pillars live because I have 2 Yang Zings on board, so that's a nice bonus. And the idea is to pillars with Yazi to bring out Suwani and Chiwin, and then I could make Denglong on their turn and then Baxi and spin 2 cards. Or I could make Herald of the Arclight, or I could get the Suwani and the Chiwin, and then if I'm laying like Paleo, let's say, I could just wait until they set and then spin 3 cards. But because this hand is completely ridiculous, I would just proceed by setting both pillars, banishment, discarding for the Tenki to get a feast. And now on my opponent's turn, I could
Well, we'd probably negate 2 cards with both pillars to clear up some field space.
Yeah, that's like the deck. I kind of wish there were like 7 monster card zones, which I guess there will be soon, but this combo's not going to work when that happens probably. And yeah, so the idea is now, you know, I could bring out Decatron and Seitzmoss, or I could just go through my other plays first, spin a bunch of cards. I have a lot of negates. There's like, I don't see myself possibly losing with this board.
Yeah, other than getting like, what's that card, Sphere Mode?
Yeah.
Other than getting Sphere Moded, I don't think this board can be outed.
Even if I got Sphere Moded, then I could still play Infernoids. So like, obviously that would be bad, but you know, like it wouldn't end the game. And even if this hand went second, the fact that I could have searched the Imagination is a pretty big deal. And I still could have forced things out with the Dryden plays. So like, the main idea of the Infernoids in the deck are just so that it's a lot easier to play going second. Like, I'm struggling to make a deck that could actually bounce back going second when all these zoo decks are going like +5, +6, +7, and then like it's tough to play around counter traps just because there's really nothing you could do. You can't chain anything on turn 2 to a counter trap. You could only really chain a counter trap, and so that was the idea. And overall, the deck is good. It's a little wacky, but it's fun, and yeah, it's entertaining. Thank you guys for watching.
Alright, and if you like what you saw, you know, make sure to subscribe and request notifications, and we'll see you guys next time.